Dear audience, a warm welcome to a new edition of Wolves Weekly. We've seen in the COVID crisis that female leaders are really important. Look at the examples of Miss Ardern, the leader Prime Minister of New Zealand, as well as Miss Merkel, the Chancellor of Germany. Also, this week in Switzerland, we're celebrating the 1 year post-manifestation where women came on the street to fight for their rights. Yes, even in 2019, women had to do that. Today, it's my pleasure to warmly welcome Ms. Marijana Karanfiloska, who is the Vice President of SBS Swiss Business School. Marijana, a warm welcome.
Thank you, Bert. It's nice to be on this series, Wolves Weekly. Thanks for inviting me.
You're welcome. You have been a strong advocate for women's rights and a more prominent role of female leaders in this society. So, how do you see the role of women in the society?
Well, there is many roles that women play in society, but I will actually just mention the role of the roles for women in the society nowadays. Now, of course, it is to continue the human race. She plays a very key role in that. That's the role of roles of women in the society. That's how I see that role. Of course, we have roles of women that they play in their families, in the companies where they work at, and then, of course, in the society in general. One of the more important roles I would mention is, of course, the role of a mother.
Mm-hmm.
She needs to educate her children. And now we have seen in the COVID-19 pandemic lockdown that women played key roles where they had to educate their children at home, for example, right? And be teachers. They have the role of teachers.
The homeschooling.
That is correct. Homeschooling, yes. So that was very important for children at this time and age, right? During the lockdown. So among other roles that she played during the lockdown, where there is always management of the family, for example, right? So that's a very, very important role as well, where women most of the time are not paid for, right? They just do it because they feel that they have to be good mothers and they have to excel in bringing up their children in this case, right? Of course, women play other roles such as working in different companies, having jobs, being friends, socializing with other women, as well is very important for one woman, that she, bonds with women and hears their experiences in society and learns from them. And then, of course, other women learn from her as well. So those are pretty much the roles per se that I would see a woman playing in this society today.
So, Mariana, let me pick up on the role you said there. Are women really better managers than men?
I would not be able to say that women are better managers than men, because whether a person is a good manager or not, there's many factors involved in a good management. Of course, it's most of the time a personality trait if a person is a good manager or not. However, I would say that in general, women are very creative and very skilled. And put to those two traits as well the multitasking that women are very skilled at, right? This will bring you to a person who is very strong, very daring, and very reliable. So I think that makes women good managers in that case.
Okay, we see as well over the past years that still, despite all these qualifications and qualities women have, that women have difficulties to reach the top, really, to go or become members of a management board, to become CEO. So one of the solutions governments have proposed in the last couple of years is quota. Do you think that's a good solution to bring women to a management board via a quota, or is that something which is not so natural?
What I would say is that when someone says quota for women in the top management of companies, that sounds very scary. and people would they would have some kind of resistance to it. However, when you think twice and you dig a little bit deeper in this concept, I would say that it's most probably very helpful, because what happens is that since we are children, we haven't been brought up in the society um, uh, through schooling and through values that are given at home to children. We haven't been brought up to know that people are equal or should be equal, right? So that's lacking in our society. Just in general, equality is a problem nowadays, right? So talking about women, in order to bring women up to management level in a company, I think quotas are definitely needed, because what is not learned from young age, when people are already mature, there has to be some kind of a rule or regulation imposed on them, and that's how they learn. So it should be definitely imposed to start with, in the management circles, as a quota, per se quota, for women managers in companies, so that people learn with time to practice this um, in their companies.
So at the beginning, and that's what we're doing now, it's a kind of forced system with the hope that in the coming months, years, it becomes a natural system where we recognize the skills and capacities of women.
Yes, it has to start somewhere, right? And this is a good start.
Mhm.
It's an imposed start, I know. However, it will definitely, we will see the results of it in few years or in a decade or so, that people will start to take it seriously, that they need to have certain amount of women on their management boards. So it takes time. It takes time to educate people. It takes time that people realize that something needs to be done that way, so that that there is some kind of a pattern established there. So
And in order to reinforce that, SBS has introduced that women's scholarship. Can you talk a little bit about what that exactly is?
yes, here at SBS we do have Women Empowerment Scholarship, as we call it. It is, we are a private institution based in Switzerland, and we are tuition dependent. That means that we do not have state funding, so we depend on developing our business school from taking tuition from our students. So what happens is that for many women, especially who come from abroad, our education is not affordable. In that case, we have seen this need throughout the years, where women would like to study at SBS, but they will not be able to, because they're simply not able to afford our tuition fees, right? So 3 years ago, we have decided to establish the Women Empowerment Scholarship. With that, we would like to aid women who are not able to afford our tuition fees, to be able to study at SBS, because it is very important for us to contribute to women empowerment. So it covers up to 20% of our tuition fees, and everything which is connected to their studies at SBS. And with that, we hope that we would be able to, and we are able to, draw more female students.
Wonderful. Mariana, time goes fast and our time is already gone for today. So I want to thank you for sharing your insights and thoughts on the role of women in the society today. Unfortunately, I have to say, continue the fight. And it's sad to say the word fight because it should be a natural process, but continue to stand for your points. Thank you, Mariana, for the insights. Really interesting. And I wish you good luck with the further development of these ideas and what you're standing for.
Thanks for having me, Bert. All the best. It was a
You're
pleasure
welcome.
being here.
Thank you so much. Dear audience, that was a new edition of Wolves Weekly. Don't forget to push our button I like it there, which you can find on your screen. And looking forward to seeing you again next week with a wonderful new edition. Bye for now.